Hey there, and welcome to the Unapologetic Mompreneur podcast. Before we dive into today's episode, I want to extend you an invitation. I would love for you to come and join the Unapologetic Mompreneur Facebook group. This free community is full of amazing women just like you and I who are all striving to unapologetically create a business and life they love that is on their terms. A safe and welcoming space you'll find all the help and support you need to go from surviving to thriving as a mompreneur and create the life you want for you and your family without worrying about what other people think. It's my absolute favorite place to hang out by far. I regularly go live sharing tips and strategies that I don't share anywhere else. There's Q&A sessions, masterclasses, and the opportunity to connect and hang out with fellow mompreneurs and talk about all things biz life and mum life too. You don't have to do this alone. Head to facebook.com/the Unapologetic Mompreneur or click the link in the show notes and come and join us today. I can't wait to see you on the inside. Welcome to the Unapologetic Mompreneur, the podcast for mums with an online business who are ready to take back their time, home, business and self so they can restore the balance and thrive, both at home and at work, without feeling like they have to choose between the two. I'm your host, Sarah Dew, life and biz coach for mompreneurs. I'm also a mum, stepmom, wife, introvert, breast cancer survivor, and your mentor for making a change for the better. I've learned how to go from surviving to thriving and unapologetically create a business I love and the life I want for me and my family without worrying about what other people think. And now I'm here to help you do the same. Because being an unapologetic mompreneur doesn't mean that we're selfish or that we don't care about others. It simply means that we are not afraid to show up as our true, authentic selves, to step into our purpose, do what we know is right for ourselves and the ones we love, and take the steps we need to take to make our dream life and business a reality. Join me each week where I'll be sharing all of my best tips and strategies, plus the occasional dose of tough but gentle love to help you feel empowered, motivated, and confident to take action so that you can become the mum, wife, biz owner, and woman you know you are meant and deserve to be. So, are you ready to unapologetically create a business and life you love? Let's do this. Hey there, and welcome to episode 8 of the Unapologetic Mompreneur podcast. In today's episode, I want to share with you 3 of the most common limiting beliefs and paralyzing thoughts that we tend to have whenever we're embarking on something new, diving into a new goal, or we have something that we want to accomplish that we know is going to help us get to where we want to be or make a change for the better. But for some reason, those thoughts are keeping us stuck and keeping us paralyzed. And so I want to share these with you today and some simple strategies of how you can turn these thoughts on their head so that you can go from being stuck to unstoppable. If you have ever thought that it's not the right time, I'm not capable, I can't do this, and what if I fail? Whenever you are working on something new, you are not alone. It is so common. These are 3 of the most common limiting beliefs that I personally see come up all the time for myself, but that I see come up time and time again when I'm working with my one-on-one clients. And I see crop up too in conversations in my community as well. We all have these thoughts and struggles, and every time we're working on something different or we have a goal to accomplish and it's a little bit scary, or we don't really know the steps, or we wonder if it's going to work, these limiting beliefs will crop up and they can cause us to stay stuck. They can cause us to question our abilities and our capabilities, whether we have what it takes, and whether it's even worth actually working on and accomplishing that goal. It can paralyze us so much that they can cause us to run and hide and to throw in the towel and to stay exactly where we are. So how do we push past them? How do we know that when we're working on that goal, it's something that we want to achieve? It's something that we know that we need to do, but those little thoughts keep niggling away at us. It's not the right time. I can't do this. I'm not capable of doing this. How am I going to get this done? And what if I fail? Oh my goodness. I cannot tell you how many times, probably every time I'm working on a goal, that these thoughts and processes come up for me. And so if they come up for you too, you are not alone. We all feel and think of these things all at one at some time or another. But knowing that they crop up and that there are things that we can do to turn them on their head so that we can push past and keep going. And that's what I want to share with you today. Because when these thoughts crop up, it is just our mind's way of keeping us safe. Because what we're about to do is step into the unknown, uncharted territory, and it's scary, and it sets our monkey brains going off of like, what is going to happen? Is this safe? And already, actually, I know I'm all right where I am right now. So I'm going to bring these thoughts into play so that I stay where I am. Because I know that, okay, that goal might be great and it might give me what I want, but maybe what if it doesn't? It's a little bit scary. People going to think, is it going to work? I'm just going to stay where I am. And that is what those thought processes are designed to do, to keep us safe. But when we acknowledge them and we know that they're there to do that, rather than hold us back, that's when we can push past and move forward on them. Let's tackle each one of them in turn, and I'm going to share a way that we can shift the mindset round on those so that you can break them down and push through them. And then a few simple things that you can do to help you actually get unstuck and work through and actually achieve those goals that you want to achieve and push past those barriers. That first limiting belief, that first thought that keeps us stuck is it's not the right time. Oh my goodness, there is never the right time. It's so easy for us to think, when I've done this, when I've done X, Y, and Z, or when such and such has happened, then it will be the right time. There is never the right time because there is always a reason for us to not do something. There will always be something that crops up to give us an excuse to not take action. And also with that monkey mind as well, we are subconsciously looking for reasons to not do something. Something is going to be uncomfortable, if it is going to step us into the unknown, if it's going to take us into new territories that we've not been before and the way isn't totally clear, or we're working on a goal where we don't know what all the steps are going to be and what the outcome is going to be, we subconsciously look for ways to self-sabotage that action so that we don't have to take action. We will do our best to try and seek out and find things that will give us a reason to say no. Now isn't the right time. It could be that there's something else important going on in your personal life. It could be that you feel like you don't have the right number of subscribers to launch that yet. Doesn't matter what it is. There could be all kinds of reasons why you are holding off on working on and putting yourself out there for the thing that you want to work on. But when you know that there is never the right time and that there will always be a reason to not do something, that can help you to just go ahead and do it anyway. I shared right at the beginning when I first launched this podcast in the very first episode how it is something that I have been putting off for so long. I've been putting it off doing it for about 4 years, and I found so many different reasons why not to hit that go button on launching this podcast. That it wasn't the right time, that I didn't have a big enough audience, that I wasn't quite, I wasn't certified as a coach at that point, and all sorts of reasons of who was I to say this, who is going to listen to it, now is not the right time. I've got other projects that I'm working on that are more important. There is always going to be a reason or an excuse for us to not dive in and do the thing that we know that we need to do. But when we tell ourselves that there is never the right time because there is always going to be a reason, that is enough of a reason for us to say, okay, enough is enough. It's time to stop procrastinating. It's time to stop looking for reasons why now is not the right time, because there is never going to be the right time. There is always going to be something that is going to make us say, not right now. And so to turn this mindset shift on its head, to turn this limiting belief of it's not the right time on its head, is to turn around and say, why not now? Say now is the perfect time to go ahead and do it, and I'm going to make a go of it, and I'm just going to do it anyway. to say that now is good a time as any, and to let's just go have fun with it and see what happens, and who knows, and just put it out there and go for it and go hit that button. The second limiting belief, the second paralyzing thought that crops up all the time whenever we're working on anything new is, I am not smart enough. I am not capable enough to do this. I don't have what it takes. I don't know how. I don't know how to do the steps. All of those sort of thought processes can come up with that I'm not smart enough as a reason to not focus through and follow through on a goal. This is a limiting belief that I worry about all the time. And every time I'm working on something new, it crops up, especially if tech is involved, because tech really is not my strong point. And if there is a reason for me to think that I can't do something if it's tech related, that is something that I allow to keep me stuck and procrastinate and not take action and keep moving forward, because I tell myself that I cannot do it, that I don't know how to do it. So it's just not going to happen. But here's the thing, we don't know what we don't know. And there is always going to be something new for us to learn. Every time we work on a new goal, every time we do something different that we haven't done before, there is something to that we need to learn. And we can figure out how to do it. We are resourceful, and there is always a way that we can figure it out. We may not know the steps right now. We may not know how to do something, but there is always a way that we can figure it out. As if you find that this thought of, I can't do it, I cannot do this, crops up, take a few moments to think about all of the different things in your life, more recently, and in your business, and also as through your adult years and even in childhood, all of the different things that you thought that you couldn't do or that you didn't know how to do. There are so many things in our lives that we have accomplished, big and small, that we thought that we would never be able to do, but we have done them. And if you think back to when your early days of your business and when you were first starting out, some of the things that you didn't know how to do, that you now do as second nature and that you don't even thinking about. And in your personal lives, driving is another great example. When we learn to drive, we have no idea how to do that. But before long, once we're driving, we can get to destinations wondering how on earth we got there, because that driving becomes second nature. And there are so many things in our lives that we thought when we first started out that we weren't able to do. And so if you find when you are working on a new task or a goal or a project and you are looking at it thinking, I don't know how to do this, there is no way that I can do this. I don't have the skills for this. I do not have this in my capability. And you want to throw in the towel. Just spend a few moments reminding yourself of all of the things that you have accomplished up until now that you didn't think that you could have done before. And that is super, super empowering. It's really motivating, and it just shows you that, hey, I've done that, so why can I not do this? Let's dive in and give it a go, and tell yourself that you are resourceful. One of the mantras that I share with my clients all the time when they are doubting their capabilities or feeling like they cannot do something because they don't know how is that we don't know what we don't know. And it is okay, because we cannot know everything about everything. But the mantra for this is that I am resourceful. I may not know how to do this right now, but I know that there is probably somebody out there that I can ask that can guide me and show me, or there is somewhere that I can look that will tell me how to do that. So whether it is asking a coach or a mentor, or looking for guidance from somebody who's done it already, or having a look and spending a few moments on YouTube, finding a tutorial, or signing up for a course or program that is going to give you the answers that you need, know that even though you are thinking, I cannot do this, I might not be able to do this, don't use that as an excuse to throw in the towel. Overcome that limiting belief and that thought that's paralyzing you and holding you back, so that you can go from stuck to unstoppable by thinking, I am resourceful. Who can I ask that can guide me on this? Where can I look to get a tutorial or find out more about the steps that I need to take, and go take that action, knowing that at the end of that, you will be another step closer to where you want to be in your goal. The third limiting belief that can hold you back is, what if I fail? This is so huge, and it has been something that has held me back in my business and in my life personally for such a very long time. Every time I tried to do something, there was that fear of failure. And that is one of the most common fears out there that we come across, both in entrepreneurial mompreneurship lives, but also personally as well, of what if I fail? What if I fall flat on my face? What if I make a laughing stock of myself? If I mess things up dramatically and I have egg on my face, how on earth am I going to pick myself back up? This one particularly can be totally debilitating if you let it. But you don't need to let it, because again, it's back to that monkey mind of keeping you safe. It is that big fear of failure, of being mocked, of being judged, of showing that you didn't have what it takes, that you weren't worthy after all, and that you were an idiot and you couldn't do it. And it is something that I used to worry about. And I still do honestly worry about it from time to time again now these days. But I know that actually it's just my mind's way of keeping me safe. And the fear of failure, yes, we all have it, but there are things that you can do, and there is a way that you can reframe that thought process so that you can get unstuck and stop being paralyzed by this, and stop holding that fear of failure and having that fear of failure of holding you back. My favorite way of breaking this down is using the analogy of fear, of FEAR, as false evidence appearing real. Is it really true? Is it really something that you are going to fail on? And what does that failure actually mean? In the grand scheme of things, in 5 years' time, is it really going to matter if this thing you're about to embark on doesn't quite go to plan? Does it really matter? And is that fear that you have actually real? Is there a real danger in doing this? Okay, you may mess up, it may quite not go to plan, but do you know what? You will learn from it. And when you reframe that thought of what if I fail, you can reframe that thought to, well, what if I succeed? And also, if you look at failure being a learning tool rather than something where you have failed, then it can just show you how not to do something and what you can learn from it, because there are always lessons from the things that don't quite go right. And if you reframe that thought process from being failure to not going quite right, that makes a huge difference as well. That takes the pressure away of feeling like we're going to be a big fat failure. Because if we're learning something from it and we are taking things from it, we learn how to not do something. Well, that helps us grow, and that helps us figure out what does actually work going forward and the better way to do something next time. The best way to break down this belief and this paralyzing thought of I'm going to fail is looking at it as an opportunity to learn, that there are no mistakes, only lessons. And remind yourself that it's only temporary too, because if you take the steps you need to take, eventually you will figure out a way to do this. You will figure out a way to accomplish whatever you want to accomplish. Even if it takes you 3 or 4 goes, you will figure out the way to do it. And you may also figure out and find that actually it's not the right path after all, and that it isn't something that you want to work on. And that is okay too. One of the best ways that I found of dealing with failure and overcoming that fear of failure is something that one of my accountability buddies taught me. And she taught me and suggested that whenever I'm having that fear of failure, is to look at it as a chance for an experiment. Instead of there being the pressure that you're going to succeed or you're going to fail, that you are just going out there having fun, you are experimenting, you are trying, you are looking to see if it works, whether it doesn't work, and whether it's fun or not, and you enjoy it or not, and if it's for you or not, and that you are just going to go and have an experiment, put it out there and see what happens. And that really helps reframe that thought of failure and push past that fear of failing as well, by looking at it as fun and as an experiment. So those 3 thoughts of it's not the right time, I can't do this, and what if I fail? They are always going to crop up when we are embarking on something new. They are thoughts that are never going to go away because it is just our programming of thoughts that crop up in order to keep us safe. But if we know that they're going to raise their head and that we know that there are things that we can do to counteract those and manage them, we can work through them, we can push past them, and we can actually turn them on their head and look at them from a positive spin and reframe them so that we can keep going, that we can then get unstuck and go from being stuck to being unstoppable in whatever we are trying to work on. Next time you find yourself thinking it's not the right time, tell yourself that there is never a right time and now is as good a time as any, and just dive in. Next time you're finding that you are thinking that you cannot do this, that you don't have what it takes, that you don't know how to make this happen, and you don't know what you need to do, break that down and tell yourself that you are resourceful, that you may not know how to do something, but guaranteed there is somebody in your life that you can learn from, that you can ask to show you how they did it, or that there is a tutorial or a course or something that you can dive into that will show you the steps and take you through the steps you need to take to make that thing happen. And then finally, next time you find yourself thinking about what if I fail, ask yourself, what if I succeed? What if I just dive in and I do this as an experiment, that I'm just going to go and have fun without there being any pressure of what the outcome is going to be? It doesn't mean succeeding or failing. It means I'm learning, I'm trying, I'm experimenting, I'm having fun, and I'm just going to go and see what happens. Try reframing these and turning them on their head to these different beliefs of looking at them in a different way. And next time they raise their head, and you'll be surprised just how much easier it is to stop feeling stuck, stop feeling like you're spinning in circles, and to dive in, take action, and crush those goals. Remember, it's normal to have doubts and fears, especially when we're pursuing challenging goals or we're stepping out to do things to carve that path that we want to take. The key isn't to eliminate that fear. And like I said, we're not going to overcome it entirely. But when we know how to manage it and we can use it as a driving force for growth and achievement, shifting those mindsets and turning those beliefs on their heads, setting goals and breaking the steps down to help you get there. And if needed, seek support and ask people to show you the way as well and be there, can really help you push past those and take those steps forward so that you can achieve those dreams and create the life and the business and life that you want for you and your family. Thank you so much for joining me for another installment of the Unapologetic Mompreneur podcast. If you like what you heard, be sure to hit that subscribe button so that you never miss an episode. And if you have a moment, I would love for you to leave me a rating and a review so that other mompreneurs can find this podcast too. Here's to unapologetically becoming the mum, wife, biz owner, and woman you know you are meant and deserve to be. I can't wait to chat with you in the next episode. Bye for now.